Hello there, this is Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space. Today I'm coming to you with a vlog from the vaults. Kevin and I went to South Carolina right after the pandemic. It was 2021, and it's time to finally show you guys all the fun stuff that we did. So this was as we had packed up everything and we were getting ready to head out. And on the way to the airport, I just love the drive to Sacramento Airport. It's really pretty. And I don't know about you, but airports and airplanes are some of my favorite ways to spend my time. I just think that they're so relaxing, maybe because I'm not usually like running the show, so to speak. It's basically like a commute, and it's a really beautiful one. And what else are you gonna do but read, honestly? I spent quite a lot of time on this trip reading War and Peace, Louise and A. Lermad translation, which I really liked. My only complaint about it was that the audiobook on Audible, which is the same translation, did not actually have the same chapter breaks, so it was very confusing when I was switching back and forth. So first, we went to Charleston, and there were these gorgeous brick houses everywhere. There was just so much interesting history happening, and we actually took a tour. We went to the Charleston Museum, which has claim to being the oldest museum in America, which was pretty cool. And this was our first time at the beach, and it was overcast and super windy, but it was not cold. It was just really lovely, and I loved seeing Kevin enjoying himself out there. We also went to an indie bookstore, and I had a really hard time picking out a book, but I ended up deciding on The Russian Debutante's Handbook, a novel by Gary Schwentgart. We also went to Charlestown Landing, which was really beautiful, and I'm really obsessed with Spanish moss. We also saw multiple turtles while we were there, maybe because it was a rainy day, and Kevin in the stocks. And we found these really creepy, kind of crabby looking things. It's almost like the spider of the East Coast. There was a ton of them, and they were making me really glad that we don't have anything like that on the West Coast. And of course, because this is the East Coast, there was all kinds of pirate stuff talked about, and at the Charlestown Landing there was this recreation of one of the first vessels to make it to the East Coast from England, and there was a tour guide explaining all about the history. Another night we actually went to a pirates dinner show, and that was one of our favorite things that we did, but they wouldn't let us take any footage, but it was super fun. I love all the pirate theme stuff. And there was lots of mussels. I was fascinated by the amount of mussels that were built up in the on the water's edge here. I have to say, my favorite thing about Charleston was the food. Everything was delicious. I don't think we had a bad thing there. We got Southern biscuits, more red brick. I love all the red brick everywhere.
The end of the Civil War, and one of these hurricanes had such a bad storm surge that it ended up flooding out the rice paddies with salt water.
We were supposed to take a tour on a ferry boat, and it rained so hard that we were already out on the water, and they took us the whole way through it. But they gave us a speed tour and said, we'll give you a full tour if you come back another day, because it really flooded. It was like a flash flood. It wasn't really anything severe, but definitely not anything we were used to. And I particularly was panicked, especially when we get to a scene that's coming up here where there's waves in the streets. I was like, we should not drive through this. This is a rental car. It's low to the ground. Still flooded. Tons of beautiful houses. I just cannot express to you how much I loved the architecture. The horse tour, we were kind of like, dang, why didn't we take a horse tour? Now, this is the other house tour that we did, the Washington Hayward House, which was super interesting. So this was the home of Thomas Hayward Jr., who was a signer of the United States Declaration of Independence, which is where George Washington stayed during his 1791 visit to Charleston.
Or they can have music and dancing in a room like this. So this is a very much a multi-purpose room.
This house is gigantic.
Huge, huh?
And you know, we got some fudge when we were in Charleston, and over the course of the trip, I ate the entire thing of fudge. It was so good. We ate lots of seafood. Even though we are from the West Coast and seafood is readily available, it's very different than seafood on the East Coast. So this was our first look at the ocean as we were headed to Myrtle Beach. We actually arrived at the beach around sunset, and we could not resist going to see it. Even though the sun was already down, we just had to go out and see it. And I just had to get this ship going out to see, wow. We also went on a glass bottom boat tour at the Ripley Museum Aquarium, which was so cool. I honestly really loved it. I did not expect to love it as much as I did. You could see all of the fish and the sharks and everything below our feet. And there was a tour guide telling us about them. It was really fun, actually. Probably that was the only thing that was worth the price of admission at that museum. Other than that, I would say it was a super crowded tourist trap, mainly for children, not really made for adults, but the glass bottom boat tour was really cool. And we played mini golf. We had plans to go to several mini golfs actually, but by the end of the trip, I was starting to get too sore. And so this was basically, we played 2 games of mini golf here, and they were Peter Pan themed. And it was so fun. And I was really good, actually. I was shocked at how good at mini golf that I was. Kevin just showed me a few pointers, and I did really well, like way better than I expected. And of course, this definitely put us in the mood to watch Peter Pan. So the next morning before our flight home, we just watched Peter Pan in the hotel room because we couldn't go out and do stuff. Like, I was just too sore. And we also had gone to a carnival too, which I don't know why I didn't take any footage of it because it was super fun. And we tried deep fried Oreos for the first time. And honestly, deep fried Oreos, new favorite for both of us.
Me too, shipmate. I am Captain Peter Pan. Are you feeling brave today? Good, because Hook has captured Tinkerbell. The Indians told you on board that nasty codfish.
And we did spend a day at the beach in Myrtle Beach, and it was such a treat. It was truly gorgeous, just the most beautiful beach that I've been to in a long time. And I have to say, we had some really great weather on this trip, and people were out parasailing. Now, this was a restaurant that Kate recommended to us, and they had such a great buffet. Southern food, like home-style cooking, really, really delicious. And of course, the closing shots, I just had to share these heavenly shots from our airplane ride home. Like I said, airplanes, I honestly love them. They're so fun. The clouds here were just gorgeous. And we had a night flight, so this was actually getting close to sunset. And then here in the ending clips are the nighttime shots where I had come down with something, so I just fell asleep on Kev's lap because there was nobody in the middle seat, and it was a great end to the trip. It was really perfect timing. Everything was great. We loved it.